Imagine waking up every single day with unwavering confidence, knowing you're capable of achieving extraordinary things. Picture yourself setting a standard so high that it pushes you beyond your limits, transforming not just your goals, but your entire life. Yet so many of us fall short, not because we lack potential, but because we haven't truly raised our standards. We settle for good enough when we're capable of greatness. But here's the truth. Extraordinary results don't come from ordinary habits or beliefs. They come from a decision to raise your standards, to demand more from yourself, and to refuse to accept anything less than what you're truly capable of. Today, we're diving into how you can break free from mediocrity, eliminate limiting beliefs, and step into the extraordinary version of yourself. Because when you raise your standards, everything changes. Your actions, your results, and ultimately, your life. Think about it. What's one area of your life where you know you've been settling? Maybe it's your health, your career, your relationships, or even your personal growth. We all have that one thing we've been putting off, that one goal we keep telling ourselves we'll tackle someday. But here's the hard truth. Someday never comes unless you decide to make today that day. Raising your standards starts with a single moment of clarity, a moment where you say, enough is enough. I deserve more and I'm willing to work for it. Now, let's talk about what it really means to raise your standards. It's not just about setting bigger goals or dreaming bigger dreams. It's about aligning your daily actions, your habits, and your mindset with the person you want to become. It's about refusing to tolerate mediocrity in any area of your life, because here's the thing. Your life right now is a direct reflection of the standards you've set for yourself. If you want something different, you have to be different. But here's where most people get stuck. They set a new standard, they get excited, and then that little voice creeps in. You know the one. It says, who do you think you are? You can't do this. You're not good enough. Sound familiar? That voice is your limiting beliefs talking, the stories you've been telling yourself for years that keep you small. And if you want to raise your standards, you have to confront those beliefs head on. Let me ask you this. What's one belief you've been holding on to that's been holding you back? Maybe it's the belief that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, or not deserving of success. Whatever it is, it's time to challenge it. Because here's the truth, your beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you're capable of greatness, you'll find a way to make it happen. If you believe you're destined to fail, you'll find evidence to support that too. This is why awareness is the first step. You have to become aware of those limiting beliefs before you can change them. And once you do, you have to replace them with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, start saying, I'm capable of learning and growing. Instead of saying, I'll never succeed, start saying, every failure is a step closer to success. It's not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing to focus on what's possible instead of what's holding you back. Now let's talk about action. Raising your standards isn't just about thinking differently. It's about acting differently. It's about making choices that align with the person you want to become, even when it's hard. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Because here's the secret. Extraordinary results come from ordinary actions done consistently over time. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. And let's not forget about accountability. If you want to raise your standards, you have to hold yourself accountable. That means setting clear goals, tracking your progress, and being honest with yourself about where you're falling short. It also means surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to be better. Because the people you spend the most time with have a huge impact on your standards. If you're surrounded by people who settle, it's easy to settle too. But if you're surrounded by people who strive for excellence, it's easier to rise to the occasion. Here's the bottom line. Raising your standards is a choice. It's a decision to stop accepting less than you deserve and start demanding more from yourself. It's a commitment to growth, to excellence, and to becoming the best version of yourself. And yes, it's hard. It requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. But here's the good news. You're capable of more than you think. You have within you the potential to achieve extraordinary things if you're willing to raise your standards and do the work. So, what's one standard you're going to raise today? What's one area of your life where you're ready to stop settling and start striving for more? Whatever it is, commit to it, write it down, tell someone about it, and then take the first step. Because the journey to extraordinary begins with a single decision. A decision to raise your standards and refuse to accept anything less than what you're truly capable of. Remember, this isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who achieves them. It's about creating a life that reflects your highest potential. And it starts right now with you. So, are you ready to raise your standards and become extraordinary? So you got to become aware of it and you get or destroy it. Now, how to do that? Honestly, if you've been DBW, you know how. If you haven't come to join me in San Jose or someplace else, when you change you, let me believe, everything changes because as you believe, so is it done. On to you. If you believe you're right, you believe you're wrong. You're right because whatever you're certain about, you find a way to support it. I always teach people, exercise, try this, and if you know it, do it fresh. Look in this room real fast for everything that's brown in this room and give you a test. What's brown? Quick, look for brown. Look for brown, brown, brown here. Burnt clothing, brown, all your eyes. Tell me everything you saw in this room. That's that. Raise your hand if you see more brown and you have been red and say, I open your eyes now. Let's add, look for, add, look for, add, look for, add, look for, add. Look everywhere for red. Look for red. Raise your hand. If you found more red this time, raise your hand. Say, why? Because you're looking for. It is whenever you focus on, you'll find stuff that's not there. How many saw beige, called it brown just to feel successful? How many saw burgundy, called it red just to feel successful? See, once you believe something is a certain way, how do you need for certainty? You'll change things to meet that belief. Let me show you in 2 seconds flat. While the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, I call the success cycle real fast. Draw yourself 4 squares, put them up on the screen in. You'll see they do this. Take a quick look. You'll notice you've got the word potential up on the left-hand square. Up on the right-hand square is the word action. Bottom right is the word results. Bottom left is the word belief, or another word for that would be a sense of certainty. Potential action, belief, results, and notice there's arrows in a clockwise fashion where they just keep feeding each other over and over and over again. So again, it's potential action, results, belief. One other word for that would be certainty. Now, do you ever notice how rich people tend to get richer and for people to get poor? And I don't just mean rich in financial terms. I mean people that are rich emotionally, So happy people tend to get happier and depressed people tend to get more depressed. How many found this to be true? Yeah, that's because the power of momentum and what I'm about to show you. So let me show you something here. What's the potential of any human being? You tell me, quick, unlimited. Do most people's results reflect that true potential? Yes or no? No way. Why? Because most people aren't taking enough. What? But is it possible? Take a lot of action and still get lousy results? What if you got salesmen that works for you and they walk out and they knock on 100 doors and they say, you wouldn't want to buy a thing from me, would you? Or they don't say that verbally, but they say it non-verbally. Is that going to affect your results? Yes or no? So it's not enough even to take enough action. Because when we believe it's not going to work or we're uncertain, does that affect how much? If I potentially tap yes or no. See, if you don't think it's going to work, you're not going to put out a bunch of your energy when you think it's going to fail. And by the way, when you're not sure, you tap a little potential. You take little or a lot of action. When you're not sure, when you think it's not going to work, you take massive action or little action. Now, when you take little potential with little action, what kind of results you get? Little lousy results. And when you get lousy results, what does that do to your belief? You'll see I told you it wasn't going to work, told you it was a waste of time. And then, by the way, when you have less belief, how much more potential you take? More or less. If it's possible, you tap less potential, more or less action, less, and what happens be results. They get even wet, and now they got worse results. Was that due to belief? And by the way, now you see the curve economy. Isn't it true? Everybody out there is going, oh my God, the results are so bad. It's going to get worse in the future. So I better pull my horns. There's less potential. So I'm not going to push this hard. I'm not going to take much action. Oh my God, I'm getting lousy results with a little potential action. Oh my God, it's going to get worse. That's what creates a recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. How do you change that? By the way, can it work the opposite direction? What would happen if something inside you gave you so much certainty inside of you that you felt absolutely certain the recession was your friend, that the worst economy for you was the greatest time on earth, and all you had to do is manage your state and apply your fundamentals and immerse state coach so you don't get off to target, keep taking action, and you can own your business and you go to other people's businesses? How many believe that? By the way, now say I. When you have that kind of certainty, are you going to use more of your potential when you go home or less? Which one, my friends, are you going to take less or more action? When you are certain and you use lots of your potential with massive action, what kind of results you get? Massive action gets massive results. What kind of relief do you get now when you get better results? You go home, use your core store, you go home and you take one. These techniques, you get a different response. You go home and you stimulate a new source of profit or income. You go home when you add a service, you overdo anything and it works. You bring us here. It works now, by the way, that home apps. We went in there, thank God. We went in there because they took our stuff and it looked like it wasn't working. Remember that, because some people there didn't want the change to happen. So we had to take in fire. It was working. We knew you can't take action. You can't sell that seed and reap nothing. So he uncovered what was really going on. You have to watch for the same thing straight from the size of your organization. But bottom line, when you get great results, beliefs get stronger. Now you're totally certain. Are you going to use more or less potential, my friends? Which one were you going to take? Even more? What good? And even greater? What? Even more? Certainty in that what happens? Your business now, you different momentum. And so your economy does not have to reflect the economy. You got to create your economy. You get to decide whether you freeze to death or ski or snowboard. It's winter, but you can have the best time of your life. It could be a sunny, beautiful, magical time, but you got to manage this process. In order to do it, you got to change your limiting beliefs. And this week has been about doing that by giving you so many tools and examples. You'll be immersed, but I promise you, when you go home, all this is going to be tested. A, because all the stuff that's waiting for you after you've been gone for 5 days. B, all the people that you work with, limiting beliefs, whether you have one employee or two, because you're, army of one or two people, or whether you got 1, 0, 0, 0. And so you have to be able to implement this. By the way, I'm going to sell you. Bring us in if we can help. Do you think we could help? Yes or no, yes or no, bring us in, we'll do it. Or get your team together and find a way to make sure this momentum goes in the right direction. Make sense? This is the must if you have this high standard, but you don't really believe because the momentum's in the wrong direction. Having the tools will be worthless. That's where certainty, that's where everything else we teach. That's what I do in my events. That's where you guys have do before. That's what you got to bring to the table. One of the 5 keys for integrating this, number 1, you got to go home and raise your light. Come on, guys. Raise your 1, which means turn your shirts into step number 2. You got to go out and change your limiting 1. Find anything that limits you and destroy it. What's the fastest way to destroy it? You can do it very quickly by producing the results in your mind over and over again. Or why do you think I get people to walk on fire? Does they think it's impossible? When they walk in this fire, mentally you might say, oh, I can do it. But when they get from that fire, it's 2,000 degrees burning hot coals. It gets their full attention. And something they have, a state change. And when you get yourself in a state where you can storm through fire, it's not about fire walking the state. You're a negation of the walk. Crossfire is the metaphor for anything it used to stop you to fire your life. And by the way, when you crossfire and you're on the other side too, one thought was difficult or impossible. That easy, you're bringing on someone else. Can I do? That I thought was impossible. It's unbelievable. It's not intellectual. It's emotional. Plus, after firewalking, cold calling is not a problem. You get the idea, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so what we're really talking about here is changing your beliefs. Now, here's the 3rd key. If you're going to get maximum results, you got to model what works. We brought you for 5 days and nights here, models of what works. Go back and get them. Now, here's where the challenge is. How many got tons to do in your normal list of things to do when you go home? Oh my God, laughter, this AI. How many have a lot of outcomes? You got AG, laughter, say I. How many on the same amount of time you got before? Say I. So in your business, if you need something to get done, you get it done because it's an absolute what? Or you hire someone to get it done. Hire us, hire someone else, get somebody inside. But are these things, you're going home with muster shoulds, which one, do whatever it takes. You say, I don't have the money. You don't have the money not to forget us. Hire somebody's. An individual who knows what they're doing and put them in there. Leverage yourself. The only way you're going to get the game bigger is by taking a little bit of what my friends risk. But that means get yourself some resources. Be resourceful enough to get the resources. What's great about this? What is this opening? What is this creating? What's possible? What have I not seen? This is going to make me see. What have I learned from this? What can I learn from this? What am I willing to do to still have it the way I want? That's the fourth step. You intensify and you innovate. So then there's a final first step, and that first step's really simple, my friends, and that is step up and give. Step up and give more than anyone else could possibly expect. The ultimate transformation happens when you stop trying to get and start to give. Whenever you're at your best, you're giving. I remember so vividly driving in my car, my Volkswagen Bug, and I was struggling, and I was 19 years old. I was driving on the freeway in San Gabriel Valley, the 210 freeway, I'll never forget. And it's midnight, and I'm frustrated. I felt like I tried everything. I had these big hits like the one you just saw, and nothing was going my way. And I was frustrated, and I kept thinking, how come I'm not getting what I want? And all of a sudden, it just hit me on the freeway. I pulled over the side. It was almost midnight, no cars really around. Grabbed my journal. I wrote, I still have the journal to this day. When I was 19 years old, full page, I wrote, the secret to living is giving. And I realized why I wasn't doing. Well, because I all focused about what I wasn't getting. I was not focused on what I was not giving. And the whole game changed. But you can't have a standard education and expect to have an extraordinary life. It's not going to happen. The one breakthrough for all leaders is constant, never-ending improvement. And that means educating yourself and continuing to develop even greater emotional mastery, because that's what affects whether you execute enough. The opportunity for self-education is there. We have to change our psychology from, I'm going to do what everybody else does, and I'm mad because it doesn't work anymore. The reality is this, the greatest time to be alive, if you're growing, you're learning, you're educating, and you're developing valuable skills. So instead of complaining, you got to say, where are the skill sets valued in the marketplace? And how do I work harder on myself than anything else? Because if I become more valuable, then I will be able to give more, do more, and change more. When I interviewed Warren Buffett, asked the most important best when he ever made in his life, he said I was thinking of all the companies they've done. He said, Tony, going to Dale Carnegie, he said what? He goes, because by developing myself, that's the most important investment. Those skill sets, learning how to persuade, learning how to speak, learning and influence. All my ideas would I died on my lips if I'd be able to influence. And I learned it from that little course. Most viable thing every day in my life. He said, if you find your passion, you're going to have this tremendous energy. It's a sustainable energy, but momentum requires you always do the next thing that keep the momentum going. And the reason you get yourself in a passionate place is so that you change your life. And the only thing that changes your life is making a decision. So while you're in this passionate state, that's where you make decisions. You don't make decisions when you're like, what do you think? All right, let's decide. If you make a decision in a state without momentum, if you make a decision from a place where there's no passion, you are not going to get momentum. It'll kill momentum. It's decide, commit, and resolve. Some of you in the past, you've gotten momentum, you've gotten passionate, you've even made a decision. But a decision is the first step. Decision is like a war. I got to do this or that. All right, I'm going to make myself through this. But commitment is when you after you've decided, you commit to do this for the long term. Whether it's hard or easy doesn't matter. You're doing this. It takes it from this moment and it carries it in the future, even when things are difficult. And the third state is resolved. Resolved means it's done. It's like it doesn't, even if you took, actually it's done inside you, so it's done out there. There's no question whatsoever. Then, once you decide, the only way the commitment and the energy and the momentum continues is if you take immediate massive, what my friends, massive life write down in your notes. Massive action is the cure-all. Massive action is the cure-all. If you're having a difficult time with something, your relationship isn't where you want it to be, your finances are not where you want to be, your body's not where you want to be, your business is not want to be, you need take massive action. And if that doesn't work, try something else. So that's his work. Try something else. Keep going with massive action and you will find the way, because it will give you momentum. At the end, raising your standards isn't just about achieving success. It's about becoming the kind of person who deserves it. It's about showing up every day as the best version of yourself, even when it's hard. It's about refusing to settle for less than you're capable of and choosing to live a life that's aligned with your highest potential. Remember, extraordinary results don't happen by accident. They happen by design. They happen when you decide to raise your standards, take consistent action, and believe in your ability to create the life you want. So, what's your next step? What's one standard you're going to raise today? Whatever it is, commit to it, take that first step, and know that every small action you take is bringing you closer to the extraordinary life you deserve. Thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing to grow. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's build a community of people who are committed to living extraordinary lives. Until next time, keep raising your standards, keep pushing your limits, and keep believing in the incredible person you're becoming. You've got this. See you soon.